Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It is Monday, the 9th of December. I'm Gav, this is Matt, and we're going to have a look back at the weekend's football. I will apologise. Well, we couldn't do anything about the Merseyside derby not being on, so there was no match reaction, and I apologise for last night. I wasn't well. I just wasn't well. I'm in recovery at the moment, so we are back. We're back tonight, and we're doing the show tonight, and we're doing one tomorrow after Girona. Time to be confirmed. And then we're going to throw a members quiz in somewhere along the line, and I'm going to do some members videos where I just go for a walk because I done one earlier and people loved it. So I'm going to be doing stuff like that. Huge news though. Huge news coming in through the chat here. Let me see. Cat was gifted a
Christmas
membership.
time.
Well, Cat was gifted a membership by Kieran B. Johnny D was gifted a membership by Kieran B. So was Nate. So was Heya Sasha. So was Akko. So was Charlie Patton. Yeah, it's all
Oh, there's more
flowing.
up there. Jamie Jamal got one. Yeah,
Barry
Kieran
Carr says
Smith.
he's alive, which is good. Kieran Smith was gifted a membership, which is good. There's so much going on. Charlie Patton says thanks for the membership. Up the top of the league rates. Well, Charlie, check it out for a month if you like it. If you like it, stay with us. $3.99 a month. It's all good. Veranda Cheese says, Ma, where did you get the tankard? Or tank? I presume he
Oh,
means tankard.
he does mean tankard. It's a nice little
Oh,
Liverpool thing there. Can't really see it. Yeah, it was a Christmas gift last year from my little brother. I believe he got it off of the Liverpool online store.
okay. There you go.
It is
Veranda
very
Cheese.
nice. It holds a regular size can very, very well. Look at it, just
Yeah,
perfectly
which is the
sized.
same size as the cans of beer you drink over there, which is handy.
Exactly.
There
Regular
you
size.
go. Do you need to have a setting on to be able to accept the membership, says Hotline? I think you do. I think you need to go into your YouTube account and you need to put on that you're open to memberships or something like that. There is a way of doing it. There is a way of doing it. Absolutely. Ashley says Kieran B is throwing memberships around like confetti. In fairness, Kieran B is listening to us. Don't give us super chats. Give people a membership for a month and see how they go. Like I said, there's membership shows, then there's shows where only members can comment, all that sort of stuff. So there's loads
Yes.
going on.
And
Yeah,
all those people that were gifted memberships, download Telegram, get yourself signed up for Telegram, email Gav at talkincop1@gmail.com, let him know your YouTube name and your Telegram name, and he'll get you added into our members chat and
yeah.
the other chats we got going on the Telegram, because the show never really stops. If you're involved in the Telegram group, the Talking Cop spirit is a 24/7 thing, basically.
Okay. Steve said there was a nice wind up around Gav's place. Couldn't hear a bloody word he was saying, but lovely wind. Was it that bad? Right. Well, listen, Steve. To be honest with you, it's the first time I've ever gone live on my phone going for a walk. I used the wrong tripod. I didn't have a mic set on the thing either. So the next time I will put the proper tripod on, which stays really still, and I will have a backlight on it so it's nice and bright, and I will have a proper mic attached to me, which makes it way more professional. Stay. I'm sorry I've ruined your day and possibly your Christmas, but that's just how it went.
I mean,
Um,
I phoned in from a tractor a couple of months ago, and nobody was complaining about the
yeah,
sound. They
I'd
just
say the
it is
sound was
quite
absolutely
right.
fine. Steve's in awful form the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's up with him. John says, "What's the story, lads? Hope you're feeling better." I'm feeling a bit better, a little bit better. With regards to the Veranda, she says he wasn't gifted a membership. No, you weren't. They're randomly selected. They're randomly selected. So when somebody goes in and hits I forget the actual process of this, but I think you can hit membership and you can hit a thing saying gift. You put in how many you want to gift, and it randomly gives them out to any of our subscribers. If you want to opt into that, I think there is a setting within your YouTube channel or your YouTube profile that allows you to accept gifts. That's how it goes. Does your walk involve golf, Gav, says Scouts up? Not today, but it will do on Wednesday. Wednesday, me steps will involve golf because I'm going out to play a competition on Wednesday, which I hate. I hate competitions, but I'm going to get the steps in. So there you go. Gav filmed themselves on a parade, though, unlike Massive Steve. It was the night time. It was the night time. What do you want me to do? All right. I was out. I was walking. Do you know what? Go fuck yourself, Steve. Do you know what? I'm not doing them
Yes,
anymore now. Right? Fuck off, Steve. Annoying
you've
me.
ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, you've ruined
Ruined
it
it
for
for
everyone now, right? Just fucking on here, giving out, not fucking, never stop giving out. fuck off, right? I'm not doing it anymore, right? Unless I buy myself a new, well-lit, fucking no-win studio with 14 mics pointed at me. Steve won't be happy. I'm only messing Steve. Steve's sound. Mitch says the membership is the best value for money around. Crazy not to be signed up. It's good crack. It is good crack. And like I said, depending on work commitments and stuff, I try to get on in the mornings. We do shows in the evenings, but we do throw member shows in there. We throw members quizzes in there. We throw shows that only members can comment. And like I said, we're trying to get more into quick member shows during the day. Ones that Steve won't watch because he'll give out about all sorts of quality. But that's how it goes. Anyway, football, the weekend. Where to start? Let's start with, I'll go first, David Coote.
We called it, Gav. We nailed that. It took him a while to get there, but we got there in the end.
Well, there was only one outcome, wasn't there?
Had to be.
Like, the PGMOL have made a statement to say that following an investigation, David Coote has been relieved, removed from his position with immediate effect. Because basically his behaviour has been found to be, just ridiculous. And they do still worry about and care for his welfare, and that will continue. But he can appeal the fact that he's lost his job. But Matt, let's be honest. The video comes out. It was me. It wasn't me. All this sort of nonsense. And then it just snowballed from there. He was doing this, he was doing that. There was so much going on. Even like the PGMOL or the FA or whoever, or the Premier League have looked at this and said, look, this is just untenable. And without getting into a deep discussion about it, it just was like untenable.
Yeah, it probably was that Monday when we did the show, when the first videos came out. I think we were both of the agreement that he needed to lose his job after the first video came out. And then when the second video came out of him at the World Cup, snorting a mysterious white powder in a hotel room while working at the World Cup, that was the final nail in the coffin. There was absolutely no recovering from that. So, I mean, best of luck to him as a person going forward and all of those platitudes that you have to give. But I only know David Coote as a referee, and I couldn't be happier to be seeing the back of him. And I think it was Ashley in one of our chats today said it's kind of ironic that his final game as a professional top-level match official was watching us win.
Yeah. Steve asks, how many pixels are on your phone, Gav? It's a Samsung Galaxy S24. So it's the latest edition from Samsung. But when you're walking in the absolute dark, like the phone can't make up light. It just can't. You know what I mean? And when you're walking in windy conditions, the phone can't make the wind go away. But I don't know why I'm still answering you, Steve. I really don't. You're just trying to annoy me now, and you're doing well. Brandon Cheese says he can't afford the memberships. I presume he says he's on social welfare. That's a lie.
It seems like he's spending all of his money on verandas and cheese. So
yeah.
His name doesn't even say cheese. It's veranda chess.
Yeah.
That's not how you spell cheese.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's a very complex person. And that's not a lie. I know the man.
No? Okay.
He's a very complex person. But yeah, look, David Coote has been relieved of his duties. That's how it goes. I don't think it was ever going to go any other way, and that's where it is. Can I go again? Can I bring up another topic?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
This guy Ashworth at Manchester United.
It was a great weekend, wasn't it?
But the thing is, and we will get into real actual football in a bit. This is so weird. Because when Ineos come in, they're like, right, we're going to strip down the footballing side of things. We're going to get rid of the people that are causing us all the issues. We're going to bring in people that are going to bring this club forward, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Okay? And then they get Dan Ashworth. I think his first name is Dan. Because I paid little attention to him. And they go, oh, that's... And Newcastle are like, no. And they're like, well, we're taking him. And well, no, you're not. And they go through 5 months of gardening leave to get him, and he comes in on July the 4th, and it's like, look at the transfer window we're having, and this is great, and bum, and now he's gone. And they're cancelling Christmas parties for staff. They've removed a lot of staff. You know, they've upped ticket price.
250,
Yeah.
250 people been made redundant at that club. You're
Yeah.
telling me that's the way to trim the fat at Manchester United
Which
is
would
to
be
get rid of...
which I would say would be probably 25% of their workforce.
Yeah.
Because there's about 1,000 people on average work at a Premier League club, from what I know, the bigger ones anyway. And then, but like they do that, they up ticket prices at the same time, and then we'll have to pay this guy off to go. So your ticket price money that's gone up is going towards paying this guy off that they've chased for 6 months to get and let go after 4.
And they kept Ten Hag over the summer and then paid him 10, 15 million to get out.
Yeah.
And then paid another 10 million to get Amorim out of his contract.
Yeah.
In Portugal to bring him in. Like, it's comical series of errors from them. And this coming from the new ownership group that was supposed to, they're going to completely turn the ship around at Manchester United and they're going to stop being this joke of a club. And it's not off to a great start. I mean, Sir Jim, he obviously didn't get his knighthood for business management. Like, it must have been for just donations or something like that. Because keep going, Manchester United, because it seems like it's an absolute disaster. I mean, when we get to the football, we'll talk about it. But poor Ruben Amorim there, he looks like he's aged 2 years in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hotline has just become a member, so he's found out how to do it, and he's done it. Fair fucking play to him. Ratcliffe is the Glazers with a Manc accent, says John. You see, this is my big thing on it, and I, like I said, I've a guy I speak to, Shawnee's good friend of Shawnee's. That's a Manchester United fan, and he was like, he's very honest on what he says, and he's like, lads, this guy Ashworth wanted Gareth Southgate at the club, right? He wanted Gareth Southgate, and the talk coming out is that he wanted Southgate. He pushed hard on Southgate. He was overruled by Brailsford and others for Amorim, and he just felt this, like, what's the point of me being here? And that might be it. But even at that, this guy has literally spent 5 months out of a job to come and take over United. And 5 months later, it's
You know, the best thing about the Dan Ashworth Manchester United period is it makes the George Schmadtke Liverpool sporting director period look brilliant in comparison. Like, that was a joke. The George Schmadtke, just never seen in Liverpool, did all of his work topless from a beach somewhere and managed to get us a whole new midfield. I mean, that looks like a genius bit of sporting directorship in comparison to Dan Ashworth. When you look at the players that were brought in under his purview, Xerxes is looking an unmitigated disaster. De Ligt, 2 big club kind of failures. He kind of flamed out at 2 pretty big clubs. Is this where he kicks on and goes on from there? Who knows? Paid a lot of money, probably way over the odds for Lenny Yoro, who could very well become a quite decent player. But yeah, great work.
Ashley says there, Ineos in their first 10 months have cut over 200 jobs. They've got rid of Alex Ferguson. They've sacked Ten Hag, right? But they've actually activated an extra year in his deal after trying to get a load of managers in and said they couldn't get anybody. And Amorim was literally flogging his golly everywhere, right? They then sacked Ten Hag, they cancelled free tickets and meals for all staff, and they increased the price of season tickets to turn around and sack the guy that they gave Newcastle so many million quid for. And then they do this, like, honestly, like, someone mentioned the Glazers there. Like, I think the Glazers are sitting back here going, we're still making as much money as we ever did. We can still put this club up as a secure, security against anything we want to do. And these guys are taking all the brunt of it. And there's no green and gold, and there's no giving out. It's like, oh, well, Sir Jim knows what he's at. And I'm like, I'm not too sure fucking Sir Jim does. You know what I mean? Like, when you bring someone in and get rid of them, or they want to leave within 4 or 5 months, that's not a good look. If you get rid of him, it's not a good look. And if he wants to go, it's certainly not a good look. I've asked in the chat there, does anybody know how within their YouTube account to go in and go on to gifts and set it to accept gifts? I don't. I did look it up before. I can't remember. So there we go. Right. Do you want to go on? You can throw a topic at me if you like.
Okay. I mean, we can talk about the football. So I mean, let's start at the beginning. 3 games was it in the 12 o'clock, because our game obviously postponed, and rightly so. Some of the videos that came out of Liverpool of people getting absolutely tossed into light poles was like, oh shit, yeah, that was no weather for a football match. So rightfully, Merseyside derby is postponed. We had Palace hosting City, Brentford hosting Newcastle, and Villa hosting Southampton as the 3 o'clock games on Saturday. Southampton is garbage. They're just dreadful. That's a big win for Villa, though. Like, they've been having a pretty rough go of it, but they should be expected to win that match at home against Southampton. And then, like, Newcastle looks like they absolutely shoot their shot against us, because they were pretty dreadful against Brentford, and Brentford's home form is outrageous. I think it's 7 wins and a draw in their 8 home games. Like, their last 5 home games have seen 31 goals in them. They're absolutely scoring for fun. It's got to be good times to be a Brentford fan right now. Their away form is terrible. I think they've got 1 point away from home, a draw at Goodison Park, but they're in 7th place?
Yeah.
9th place. They're in 9th place. I mean, they're going absolutely fantastically, and I mean, Thomas Frank, we said it when Ten Hag got sacked. We did a show, who would you like to see come in? And it was obvious that it was going to be Amram, and I said that the one that they should be going for is Thomas Frank, because he's a quality manager.
It's interesting. I listened to the Villa podcast today with their reaction of the win against Southampton, and I love listening to them. I love listening to the Villa podcast and the Blue Room, everything. After that, I don't really listen to any other clubs. And it was funny. Villa's the guys on there. Their take was, this guy continues to try play this football, and he can't. Because any time Villa, who aren't a pressing team, decided to press them just a little bit, Villa got the ball back. Villa missed a host of chances in the game, apparently, as well, and got a win. But that's 6 out of 6 during the week, because they did beat Brentford during the week as well. We just pushed Villa, I think, back into 6th place and about 4 points off third or something like that. It's something ridiculous like that. And that Villa one, listen, I could always see that Brentford Newcastle result coming, because I keep saying it. Unless Newcastle are playing City, Arsenal, or Liverpool at St James's Park, Anthony Gordon and Isaac don't really turn up after that, and they can win a few games, but they'll lose an awful lot as well. That's just the way Newcastle are. We made a mistake at Newcastle. We're over it. We move on. And what was the third game?
The third game was Crystal Palace hosting Manchester City, finishing in a 2-2 draw. They got right back on the horse just to slip right back off the horse again.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Palace could have been 2-0 up just before City make it 1-1. Palace go 2-1 up, City get back to 2-2. There's a sending off, which is very contentious. It depends on the way you want to look at it, but then you see Pep's reaction to it, like, oh, he gets sent off because he's Rico Lewis. Like, as if Rico Lewis has this massive reputation around Europe for being a guy that gets sent off because he tackles. Nobody fucking knows who Rico Lewis is.
If he didn't have outrageous hair, you could pick him out of a lineup.
But the thing is, he has, it's like saying, oh, I see fucking X of my X player scored today. Well, that's what he does. And we're like, well, mate, he's played 4 games. He's only played 4 games. That's the only kind of, sample size we have. And you're making comments like that. And then Guardiola makes that comment. You're like, mate, where has Rico Lewis even come into a conversation? In any of this, when you've been good, bad, or indifferent, on his tackling, his shooting, anything, nothing comes in. It's just like, Rico Lewis will play there. We might be able to get on him. He's not the most physical. And for him to say that, it's like, I was literally going, what is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. If that was Kovacic, right? You go, Kovacic is a bit of a prick. He's gone through 2 Arsenal players there at the Emirates last season. He should have got sent off. He's known for being a strong in the tackle. And he gets sent off, and Pep goes, well, it's because it's Kovacic. He's quite physical. You go, yeah, I can kind of see where you're going there. But to turn around and go, well, it's because it's Rico Lewis. It's like, what? Like, absolute madness. Of course, they did get 2 points back on us during the week with a win at home to Forest. But again, they've handed that back to us. By drawing there. Now, I know we still have to play our game in hand, and people were like, oh, do you know what? Everton are favourites for this game on Saturday. And I was like, Everton are anything but favourites for this game on Saturday. Like, genuinely anything but favourites. Like, people literally watched Everton beat a Wolves team, collapse in front of them. And Dave Downey told you, Wolves just collapsed in front of their eyes. And watched Liverpool play a game where they were shit and still weren't beaten. And all of a sudden, Everton were massive, favourites for this game, which is nonsense. It'll be a tough game. But there's no way anyone can go around going, well, that's 3 points for Everton. So realistically, Chelsea are only 4 points behind Liverpool. That's not how it works. And I really like your thinking on it. It was something you said after the game the other day where Arsenal draw and you just said, Grant, they're 6 points behind us. Let's treat it like we've played the same amount of games and continue on our way. I'm a huge fan of that, by the way. Don't have that in your back pocket. You don't need it. Just make sure you don't need it. Make sure you're going into that Everton game 9 points clear with a game in hand, and everything's absolutely fine. We can all have it, get the cigars out at Goodison, give the old lady a big nice send off if you want. Fine, but those games a bit mad. We'll talk about Man City in a bit as well.
Well, to me, the big thing about Man City, and I heard that I was listening to the Guardian Football Weekly, and there was 2 things that stood out for me on there. One, somebody mentioned the stat that City have given up the 4th most big chances in the league, with only Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester. The 3 promoted teams have given up more big chances, and that is just outrageous. But Will Unwin was one of the panel on the podcast I think it was from today, and he's a Man City fan, and they asked him, what's the issue at Man City? And he just went, it's Rodri. And it's like, I'm sorry, if losing one player, however good he is, and I think he's a willing Ballon d'Or winner this year, I think Rodri is absolutely phenomenal. But if you lose one player from your team and you're conceding the 4th most big chances in the entire league, you look like you cannot create a goal anymore, and that all of your aura is lost from one player, that's unacceptable team building. Like, that then needs to fall on Pep Guardiola's shoulders. The fact that you've made your team so centrally devised around Erling Haaland scoring 40 goals and Rodri doing all of the other work. And if you lose one of those 2 players, the team cannot work at all anymore. Like, I'm sorry, like that's on Pep Guardiola. He needs to be taking the blame for that. And he's got so much good credit in the bank because of all their recent success built on a foundation of financial doping. But he's got so much credit in the bank that he's not getting the pressure that he should be under, that any other manager would have been under with the run of games that they are putting together right now.
The thing is, for me, and somebody's mentioned it there, Antio says, selling Alvarez in the summer, not replacing was a huge mistake as well. I fully agree. Megan McCallion says, Walker has been awful. I fully agree. Bob Paddock says, Gundogan CDM is madness. Couldn't agree more, right? The thing for me is on all of this is, we have Pep Guardiola here, right? And people say he's the best coach that's ever lived. He's this, he's that, he's everything. I don't believe that, right? I don't go along with that thinking. I'm not saying he's not an excellent coach, but I don't go along with that thinking because I think Pep, when everything is put in place and everything's running nice and smoothly, has A, the ability and B, the financial strength above everyone else to have it all and run roughshod over everybody. The biggest thing in this for me is that he has not adapted to players being injured, out of form, and teams approaching them in different ways. He simply hasn't adapted. He hasn't, why hasn't he gone out in one of these games and went, I'm going to Crystal Palace. I don't believe they have it in them to fucking play through us. So I'm not going to make this an open game to give Eze chances or Mateta chances or whoever it might be. I'm going to sit in and I'm going to go, you have the fucking ball. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them off. And I'm going to pick them off. And I can pick them off. I have the players that can pick them off. And then when we get 2-0 up, then I'm going to change around. Then I'm going to take control of that ball and I'm not getting it back. Because I'm good at that. But they're not even controlling the ball. They're not, because the problem is, City used to control the ball, and when other teams didn't have the ball, obviously because City have it, they always had that fear in the back of their head, City can slice you open at any minute. But when I'm watching City at the minute, I'm thinking, they're doing an awful lot of nothing with this fucking ball at the moment. City, when they always had it, you always thought there's a threat here. They're on the corner of the box, there's players moving around. They're in the middle.
Two passes and the ball's in the back of your net.
And you're hurt really, really quickly. Whereas right now, you're looking going, they're not doing an awful lot. And like Jono says there, he's used to having everything in his favour. He absolutely is, because the clubs he's been at have set up to make sure he's everything in his favour. Barcelona, after 18 months, absolutely set up in his favour. Bayern Munich, the German league, bar last season, I think they've won 11 or 12 of the last, maybe 13 of the last 15 titles, okay? And you see what it done to Borussia Dortmund to get 2 of them off them, and what happened to them afterwards. So, you have to adapt. I don't think he's a better manager than Alex Ferguson. And I fucking hate Alex Ferguson. But but if you look at it and people are saying, no, United had all the money. United had loads of money because they were brilliant. They were brilliant in a commercial sense, right? But United always had a big challenger. If you go through United's team, they did challenge in Blackburn, right? It was a season, but they did challenge in Blackburn, right? They had a couple of seasons after that where it wasn't really a challenge there, to be honest. But then along came Arsenal for a season or two. Right, then they fell away for a couple of seasons. Then Arsenal came back at them. Then Chelsea came at them. Then, you know what I mean? And it went on, and Arsenal come back into it again, and whoever come into it, and he still went and won titles. Right? It's honest to God, like, he adapted. He changes his assistant managers. He throw. We were only talking to our mate the other night about, like, Yap Stam, good luck. Beckham, out you go. Van Nistelrooy, good luck. He constantly adapted to what he had to do, and he knew what was coming. If he got injuries, he knew what to do. I think he's a better manager than Pep Guardiola. That's my opinion, because he's able to adapt to different situations. Pep Guardiola, in my opinion, when the chips are down and they go on 3 or 4, bad results, or 2 or 3 bad results, his head completely goes. And it only comes back when he gets all his players back to play in that system. And, like, if he gets them all back, bar Rodri, and they're not winning, it's down to Rodri. Whereas when Rodri's there and they're winning, they wax lyrical about every player in this squad and how brilliant they are. I'm sorry, but if Rodri's out and you're that bad defensively, you can't be giving me all that when Rodri comes back that all these players are excellent. I think it's showing up an awful lot of players for what they actually are then.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them are reaching the end of their cycle. I think a lot of them are hitting that Fabinho cliff and falling off. But something that just kind of dawned on me there when you were talking about Pep's unwillingness or inability to adapt, do you think a little bit of the galaxy brain accusations against him? Because remember, 5, 6, 7 years ago, he would do crazy things in games, especially in the Champions League. Like, he wasn't such, because somebody in the chat there called him a fundamentalist, and that's now what he is. This is my way of playing. It's going to work. I don't need to change because we're the best. We've won 6 titles, or however, we've had all the success. I don't need to change. And he used to do insane things, like, playing 4 number 6s or something like that, or, no fullbacks or no forwards or anything like that. And it always seemed to backfire on him. I'm wondering if he's like, once bitten, twice shy sort of thing about trying to adapt, and he's gone too far the other way, and he's too stuck in his ways, because they've still got decent players there. It's just he's not getting a tune out of it. And then some of those players, like Bernardo Silva, a great servant for the club. He's a little rat-faced fuck, but he's been a great player for them, but he looks miles off of it. Like, Ilkay Gundogan, never go back. Like, you had an amicable breakup and you went back, and it's just not working out. Like, never go back. What are you doing?
But, like, Scouts of Pieces, Sir Alex Ferguson won his last title by bringing in Van Persie. He was a vanity signing, not what United needed long term. No, but it was what United needed then.
Yeah.
They win the last title in 12-13. Who wins the title in 2011-12? Chelsea? I'm trying to remember, right? But what I'm saying is, Ferguson looks and goes, Van Persie, perfect. It's not like he brings in Van Persie and it's like, are he's just signing that to take him off Arsenal? No, he signed him and he won in the league. But like, you're talking about, or we're talking about, Southampton. Like, that Southampton manager is under massive pressure because he continues to do the same thing every week and expect different results. And right now, Pep Guardiola is doing exactly the fucking same thing. He's doing the exact same thing every week and expecting different results. And that is not. Well, 11-12, of course, was City. Sorry, the Aguero goal. You're right. I was thinking 10-11 for that. I don't know why. But it's but like it just doesn't make an awful lot. I can't believe he's not being absolutely slaughtered for the tactics and slaughtered for the way they're going about games, and their attitude isn't being slaughtered. It just seems to be, they're on a bad run at the moment. Poor Pep, they're on a bad run at the moment, and they start listing fucking injuries. But everybody has them. Everybody has them. Liverpool has them. Everybody has them.
My commentary for their game at the weekend said they had a makeshift backline. A makeshift backline. Josko Gvardiol was 100 million euros. Ruben Diaz was, I think, 65 million euros. Kyle Walker was what, 50, 60 million euros?
50 million, I think.
Yeah, okay, you have to play one youth player there. You had to play Rico Lewis. Shucks darn. That's so tough. You had to play one youth player amongst three other players that average 70 million euro transfer fees. That's not a makeshift backline. A makeshift backline is playing Jordan Henderson and Fabinho as your center half pairing, or playing Ozan Kabak and fucking Fabinho, or Reece Williams and Nat Phillips. That's a makeshift backline. Like 100 million, the most expensive defender in the history of world football, is not part of a makeshift backline. Like, I'm sorry.
But the funny thing is,
it goes back to narrative corner, Gav. They're fucking bad champions. And I'm waiting with bated breath for the Gary Nevilles of the world, for the BT Sports and the BBC writers and the Guardian Football.
Yeah, but you see, you can't. Yeah, but you can't because when you've championed these people, for so long, right? For so long, you can't then turn around and say all this stuff about them. Plus, they're terrified to say anything about Manchester City because of all the stuff that's going on with them at the moment as well, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Final game on Saturday. We got to talk about it, Gab. It's some of the funniest football I've ever seen. Finishes at Old Trafford. United 2, Notts Forest 3. Notts Forest are the team that haunts managers, apparently. Arne Slot hates them. I'm sure Ruben Amorim hates them.
Yep.
The goalkeeping play from Andre Onana is outrageously bad. That guy is awful.
I'd struggle to make any sort of argument. Right, so I've watched a little bit of United since he came in because I'm intrigued. Do you know why I do watch them? Because he was linked with Liverpool, and I've seen Leverkusen play, and I like how they play because Alonso was linked as well, and I've kind of watched him. Now look, let's call a spade a spade. I think he has a fucking atrocious squad to work with for what he wants to do, right? So it's going to take time. It's going to take loads of time, right? And he needs to be given loads of time. But I don't think he can buy his way out of this. I don't think Manchester United as a club can buy the way out of this. This needs to be very, very tactically done. It needs to be very cute. It needs to be very clever in the transfer market. They need to make money back on some players so they can turn the books around a little bit. When I've watched them, and particularly against Arsenal, and maybe Arsenal's the wrong kind of thing to do because Arsenal are one of the best sides in the country. They have an awful lot of the ball, but they don't seem to do an awful lot with it. And they go 1-0 down after a couple of minutes because they're awful at defending crosses. Like, genuinely awful. They're all marking these spaces and they're like, that might hit me in here, or it mightn't hit me. And this guy just jumps up and heads it, and not long later another fella hits the bar with a header. It's like, and then they get an equaliser, and you're like, right, got an equaliser, settle in here, and you're thinking, good, right, okay. And then the second goal goes in, and when he hits it, but you know something? When he hit it and it went in from the original angle, I was like, did the telly kind of like, did the telly turn off and turn back on again? And it's taken a massive deflection off somebody. And then I was like, they'll show it from behind the goal or, from the middle of the pitch, and you'll see.
A little swerve.
There is nothing on it. There's nothing on it. Like, I'd say if you drew a line from the point, it starts from Gibbs White, wasn't it? Gibbs White foot to the point that goes into beyond the line. I would say it's no more than 6 or 8 inches off a perfectly straight line. Do you get me? Like if you drew a straight line from Morgan Gibbs White's foot to that line on the goal line, and
Yeah.
then pick the point
Yeah,
where it
perpendicular
crossed the
to the
line,
goal line.
is
Yeah.
6, 8 inches, right? He literally is standing there. The ball is hit, and he just falls.
Well, Gav, he acts
He was like a
he's never
Sabutio
seen
player.
a
You know,
ball.
Sabutio player that just falls, and you're like, what's going on
He
here? Like,
acts like Onana acts like he's never seen a ball move in the air before.
it's not even
Like,
in the air.
He looked at it like, what the fuck? And it just
It's not even in the
past.
air. It's along the fucking ground. It's not. It hasn't gone 6 inches off the ground, right? It hasn't gone 6 inches off the ground. It's not traveling particularly fast. And honestly, the guy doesn't need to move. If he just stands where he is, he could actually trap the football. He could trap it and go, right, lads, I'm going to start a fucking attack from the back here. But instead he goes, oh, here's a shot. Do you know what looks better when there's a shot taken? A dive. And but he doesn't dive. He falls and instalments down to his right
Like
hand
a
side.
bag of cement, he falls to the ground. And he has always done.
But then the funny thing is, when he falls, right, he still has time. He still actually has time to go, I've fallen over, my apologies,
Yes.
and I'm going to reach over here now and just save this ball. And he doesn't. And
it's before we get on to the third goal, because I think the third goal might even be funnier, I will give credit where credit is due. The play that Bruno Fernandes does for the second United goal, he plays an incredible pass to switch the play out to the right.
Yeah.
Diallo looks like, and I saw somebody in the chat say that Diallo looks like he could be a real player. Whoever that was, can't remember your name, just calm down. We've been through this pretty much every single year with Manchester United. This is just the new Alejandro Garnacho, the new Adnan Januzaj, the new Federico Makeda. Just calm down. He's had a couple of good games. He looks all right, but the quality is so low that all you have to do is be half decent and you look outstanding in that United side. But Amad Diallo looked fine, but it was actually pretty good work from Bruno Fernandes, who was otherwise terrible in that game.
Well, I think, if I remember that goal, I think he tries to cross at Diallo and it gets blocked. Yeah. And then Fernandes makes a really good run back into the edge of the box and puts it in.
Yeah, he delays his run and he gets himself into the space. He doesn't just rush into the box. No, I think Diallo just picks him out with the pass because of the run that Bruno Fernandes makes. And I mean, it makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember thinking the best part of it was actually Bruno Fernandes kind of comes around on the run where, kind of takes a few people out with the run. But then
the third goal is...
that's the third goal is appalling.
There's three of them.
But the funny thing is, right. Firstly, they lose the ball in the edge of the box, right, or whatever happens. This guy takes it. I don't know who crossed it, right? Because I just got lost in the fucking hilarity of what's going on. And Black Prince says, Gav, you're too bad. There was a good swerve on the ball and he'd already committed to going left. Let's be honest, guys. There was not a good swerve on the ball. And what the fuck is he doing committing to going left? What's he doing committing to going there? The ball never is going to enter the area that he's diving into. You are not telling me that swerves 3 to 4 feet. It's just not true, right? What he should be doing is standing there going, he's hit that, right? Even if it goes out, even if it stays straight, 2 foot right of him, he should be able to fall down and catch that.
Yeah.
Right? If it swerves back, he saves it. But what does he do? It takes off and he thinks this is going to his right-hand side, or left as we look at it, and he just falls down there. It's a terrible shot. And he still lets it in. But the third one, right, is crossed to the back post. Chris Wood goes up and gets a header on it that I can only call looping. Right?
Very looping, yes.
Very loopy header he gets. It goes up in the air. I don't care what Lisandro Martinez is doing. I don't care who was the third guy on the scene.
I think it might have been the washing machine himself by that time. I think Maguire was on at that point.
It might have been Maguire. But why isn't the goalkeeper just going, lads, that's looping up in the air? Like, it's literally, I don't even know if it bounces behind the line. It might actually bounce on the line and in. Why isn't he going, he's headed that from all the way out there, it's looping up in the air, and just shout keeper and come up and... It's genuinely one of those loopy balls that you would throw up in the air at a really amateur game of football, before the game, you go, here, Gav, warm up the goalkeeper there while you're having a smoke, and you just get the ball and you just throw it up in the air and go, here, catch that. You know, it's so bad. And not only does the goalkeeper look at this loophole and go, oh, no, I reckon someone else will get that. I think it's Harry Maguire there as well, going, that looks like it's going in. And Sandro Martinez is going, then one of them two lads is definitely going to touch this, like, you know. And but
It was slow
to be that bad,
motion.
it's actually, he runs past the fucking thing. It goes in on his left hand side. You're like, this is, and to be fair, right, when you look at Ruben Amorim after the game, yeah, and you're saying he's aged, you have to be thinking to yourself, this guy has to be looking at these going, what in the name of fuck is going on here?
Yeah, he's going to have to play 7 at the back if that's the quality of defenders that he has. Like, it's the sheen around the butcher Lisandro Martinez, I think, is even starting to wear off for United fans. Like, I do a little bit of lurking on opposing teams' subreddits after they lose games, and you're seeing United fans being like, he's just not good enough. Like, yeah, he's small. That's fine. You can be a good quality, you know, like Cannavaro wasn't a giant of a man, but he was a quality center half. But he doesn't have it. And that goal was just such a perfect encapsulation, because it seemed like it took a full minute to go from Chris Wood's head into the back of the net. And
if you take,
Sandro tried to jump and was still too short.
If you take, I think it is Maguire that's the third person on the scene, right? If you take him out, because he's the one I'd actually blame the least. He's gone back towards his goal. He's probably waiting for something to happen. But if you take him out of that, you want a goalkeeper that is committed to what they're doing, okay, and catch the ball. Or you have a centre half that is committed to looking after a goalkeeper that's not committed by saying, this prick's not going to catch this. I'm just going to run in and head this over the bar or fucking kick it away somewhere.
He's on the line. He's on the line. He just has to kick it out.
But neither of them do anything. And this is what Ruben Amorim is working with. And don't get me wrong, I think they're having, I don't even know if they're having an awful lot more of the ball than they had under Ten Hag. I'm not too sure on that, because I always felt that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer they gave up too much possession. I thought they had more possession under Ten Hag, but they were too easy to get out once you won it off them. It's just like, if I'm a United fan, I'm looking there and I'm saying to myself, the first thing I have to say to myself is, the last person you have to have a go at here is this manager. And even if this is happening 6 months down the line, because I don't know how much you can change these players. I really don't.
They have to stick with him. They have to keep the faith in Amorim.
Yeah, and I know that it's a 3-year deal and all. I don't even know if 3 years is enough, considering the amount of players they have there, the amount of them on big money, on long contracts, and the PSR kind of, you know, brink that, you know, you kind of sit on, apparently. It's just, it was just bananas to watch. Like, I just could not believe what I was watching from them.
3 managers, Gav. 3 managers, and they're still in 13th. And my absolute favorite after the game, I knew it was coming. I told you it was coming on a show. I said it in Telegram and WhatsApp chats. There it is. The United fans going, we should have just stuck with Ruud. And it's like, there it is. That's all I wanted, because they had a little uptick under Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah. And they're sitting there going, look, we've drawn with Ipswich. We've beaten Everton, who just collapsed. We've lost away at Arsenal, and we've lost at Nottingham Forest. With 4 games in, he's won 1 and lost 2 and drawn 1, right? He's taken 4 from a possible 12. And you can guarantee a lot of them are going, look at Van Nistelrooy. He's gone into a new club. He's got 4 points from 6. You know, he's done really well there. You know, and you're like, mate. But this is it. But that's where they are. And then of course United play City this weekend. I'm not too sure who's at home for that game. But
I think it's at the Etihad.
Yeah, I think it might be at the Etihad. I'm just saying that because City were away and United were at home. But yeah, that's what that was. Some mad games on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, well, I mean, the Ruud Van Nistelrooy. I mean, that's a big comeback for Leicester. I mean, Fabian Hurtzler at Brighton's got to be kicking himself for giving those points away, because they had it. and they were dominating the game from the bits that I was watching, because those games were all quite exciting going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And
But there's your difference with Leicester. Leicester were 2-0 down against Chelsea and were hopeless. And they got a goal back with a couple of minutes to go, and you knew they weren't going to score again. Whereas this Leicester have a bit about them. No, they don't. They're not very good. But they've a bit more fight in them. And they get a goal in 86, I think, through Vardy. And they keep going. And they keep going. And they get a goal in 94th minute or something. They get a draw. And that's a huge point for Leicester. It just keeps them ticking over, considering Ipswich are 1-0 up with 4 minutes to go at home to Bournemouth and managed to lose that game. Which, funny enough, if Ipswich had won that, would have got them onto 12 points, which would have put them 3 points off Everton, who were currently sitting 16th, I think. So, it was a big one there. And then we got on to these two games.
Yeah, I mean, just credit to Bournemouth. I mean, a good late comeback for him. That Areola is doing fantastic things with that team. If maybe, because I don't think any of them are real world beaters. Like, I don't think there's anybody in that squad that you look at. Maybe Semenyo that other teams are going to be just absolutely lining up for in the summer. If he can keep the majority of that squad together, maybe add another piece or two here, I'd be really interested to see what he could do keeping that core Bournemouth team together, because they've obviously bought in to what he wants out of his team, Areola, and he's getting results from it. But do you want to do Arsenal first, or do you want to do Chelsea Spurs?
I think we do Chelsea Spurs first, because Spurs just continue. Like, people are saying they find new ways of being Spurs. There's nothing new about this.
Nope.
Spurs were 2-0 up away at Brighton, and everyone thought they were amazing, and lost the game 3-2. They're 2-0 up there yesterday after, I think it's 17 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
And honestly, they were carrying on straight after the goal as if they were 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go. They have no game intelligence about them whatsoever. All they know is if we get the ball, we all have to flood forward and try to score a goal. Maybe it's a lack of confidence in how they defend, or the defenders they have, or the goalkeeper. I don't know what it is. But Spurs literally went 2-0 up there the other day, and instead of going, right, that's it, we're going to sit a bit deeper here, we're going to cut off the channels to the likes of Palmer or Jackson or whoever is there, and we're going to make sure that we get to half-time 2-0 up here, let them get a bit desperate, and we might pick them off on the break like we did against Man City. And what did they do? They just kept going and going and going, and Chelsea went, great. And they lost the game 4-3, and you're like, fair play to Chelsea. They came back and they won the game. But, people are...
They had a lot of help.
They had a lot of help, but people are still turning around going, Chelsea, I'm not too sure on Chelsea. Look, Chelsea have a bigger squad as anybody. They spent a shitload of money. They have a squad big enough, even though he's literally binned off half of them. And no one seems to mention this. He's just literally gone to half of them. You don't play for Chelsea anymore. Don't care who you are. Many fucking years contract you're on. And nobody's turning around going... I understand they still have to pay, but nobody's turning around going, listen, why is nobody going around? Not enough's being made of what Chelsea have done to half these players. They just seems to go on, and that's it, right? And people are kind of going, I'm not too sure. Chelsea have a big enough squad there to go through that Conference League at a fucking canter, right?
Yeah. Well, they've effectively registered almost an entirely different squad of players, because they have so many players.
Yeah. So this Thursday, Sunday stuff is a myth for Chelsea. In fact, Chelsea might be the best equipped squad for the Premier League season this season, because the squad they have just have to look after the Premier League. Arsenal's squad have to look after two competitions, including, a European and a domestic. We have the same. City have the same. And then, FA Cup, League Cup, whatever, one of them's nearly over, and one of them, when it comes in January, teams don't really give a shit. If they get to a quarter final, they might show a bit of interest. Olivier says a Chelsea point deduction is incoming. I don't see that happening. To be fair, there's absolutely nothing being said with regards to Chelsea and any issues that they have, and I can't even remember what the issues are now, to be fair. But it was just Spurs being Spurs, man.
No, it's not just that, because Bracky put in the stat there that it's the 11th time in the Premier League era that Tottenham have blown a 2-goal lead, which is the most by, I believe, a long distance. If anybody's going to blow a 2-goal lead in the Premier League, it is going to be Tottenham Hotspur. But this is vindication for Kev O'Sullivan, this is on Ange Postecoglou. because it's exactly what you said. If you can come up with a game plan, and hey, guess what? Your game plan worked fucking brilliantly. Like Mark Kukureya forgot to put cleats on, so he can't stand up, and you capitalize, and boom, boom, you score 2 quick goals, and you're way ahead of where you thought you should be or where you would expect to be. Change it. Change it. Keep what you have. You don't need to keep chasing the game. And that's on him. And we saw it, like the case in point of last year in the game against Chelsea. Yeah, they went down to 9 men. But to keep playing the same way down 9 men and then to come out after the game and go, I don't care if we're down to 5 men. I'm going to keep playing the same way. And it's like, well, then you're fucking stupid, aren't you? Like, that's not how.
But you see, this is where it's a little bit like romantic appointments in football. They don't work. Right, and Ange Postecoglou, I think, has gone in there, and the first thing he's seen, or someone said to him, is the Spurs way, and he's gone, okay, the Spurs way, and he's just fucking zombied his way through, going the Spurs way. There is no Spurs way. There's no fucking Spurs way. Spurs way, when you talk about Hoddle and Ardiles and all these things, was, oh yeah, free-flowing football. They won't fuck all, right? They won't fuck all. The only thing they pinned themselves on was, we've a way of playing. Everybody's a way of playing. But most of them are fucking shy, right? They've won a League Cup in 2009. They may have won a League Cup in the early 2000s as well, right? But let's be honest. Tottenham Hotspur, and they won an FA Cup in 91. But Tottenham Hotspur, in the last 30 fucking years of football, have won, I think, 3 trophies. I could be wrong. I think it's 3. I think it's an FA Cup in 91. I think it might be a League Cup around 2001-ish. And I think there's a League Cup in 2008 or 9. Right? And that's it. They don't have a way. So stop fucking pretending you do. Stop playing up to the gallery. Like, well, this is what you love. They don't know what they love. I tell you what they love. To go out and fucking defend and win a game and put yourself back into the top 4. They don't have this way. They don't... Listen, all this shy, it's a bit like West Ham, the West Ham way. What's the fucking... Give me a break. Right? Selling all your
youngsters, I guess.
Come here and I tell you. Teams don't have ways. Liverpool used to have a way. Pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. And do you know what happened? Liverpool stopped passing and moving, and they just passed. Right? And they passed and they passed. Go back and watch Liverpool in the mid to late 90s, and all they done was pass the fucking ball everywhere and done fuck all with it, right? And the Liverpool way went, and it has to evolve. Liverpool's way under Benitez, it evolved, right? Under Houllier, they evolved something. It wasn't nice under Houllier, but that was their way and it was effective. Don't give me all this when you're not winning fuck all every season. That, well, at least you play the Spurs way, mate. What are you talking about? Because every fella that you want to come in and talk about playing the Spurs way have all tried to play up to you as fucking idiots. And what happens? You win fuck all. You hate him, even though he's tried to play your way. You want him out. And the next guy comes in, they go, what do you want from the next Spurs manager? Well, I really want him to play the Spurs way. No, you fucking don't. You want him to come in. You want him to say, I couldn't give 2 fucks about Spurs. I couldn't give 2 fucks about how they've played, who's played for them, how many goals they have. I don't care. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a team that's going to compete, score goals, and not concede them. That's the whole thing about football. Score and don't concede.
I think you can have a way, not for a club, but for managers. So Jurgen Klopp has a way of playing football. Pep Guardiola has a way of playing football. I guess Mikel Arteta has a way of playing football we'll get onto later. It's entirely based around set pieces. But managers can have ways of playing football. But you can't expect your club to live by that ethos because you're setting up manager after manager to fail by not living up to this mythical thing. I think we all kind of said when Jurgen Klopp announced his retirement and we got through the process and we hired Arne Slot of, we don't want him to just come in and be the next Jurgen Klopp. So while Klopp was here, Liverpool had a way of playing, and it went all the way down through the age groups. This is the way that Jurgen Klopp wants the senior team to play, and so the under-21s, the under-18s, all the way down to the little kids are all going to play this style of football because he's the man that's in charge of our football club. He's the captain that's leading the ship right now. So that's when you have a way of playing. And you can do that when you are great, when you are a great manager, when you've done things, when you have the aura and the enthusiasm to get everybody on board and you can have the whole club buy into you. But at a club like West Ham or at a club like Spurs that don't get the triumphs like that, like for West Ham, it should have been the David Moyes way. He was as good as they've had in at least my lifetime of watching football, but yet they decided to turf him and go in another direction, and it's blown up spectacularly in their faces. Like, clubs can't have a way of playing because things change. You go through generations where you've got shit players that you just have to survive and get through and try to make incremental improvements and get better and get better. Because I would say right now, like, yeah, it's probably fun as a Spurs fan. It's certainly fun as a neutral watching them play because it's madness every one of their games. But are you telling me right now that Ange Postecoglou is an improvement over sticking with Nuno Espirito Santo? Because you can look at the table right now and you can look at the results, and it sure seems like Nottingham Forest is having a much better time of it than Tottenham is right now. And they don't have
I seen
big
something the
name
other day.
players.
But I seen something the other day. I think they have something like 19 wins in the last 40 Premier League games. Do you know what I mean?
It's not good. Yeah,
And if you take 19 wins out of 40, right? So they're winning half them, and then you put 30 draws on that. So of 100, if you put 10 draws on that, right, just as the mean on all this, right, that means that they would 9, 18, 27, 57, 67 points out of a possible 120. So that would literally get you about 63 points in the Premier League over a season, which will get you nothing. It will get you nothing. It won't get you fifth. It won't get you fifth place. It simply won't. 60 points, 63 points. It's about 1.5 points a game.
Chelsea had 63 points last season and finished in 6th.
Yeah, so it'll get you 6th place. So you might get your Europa League spot. But that's not doing anything for you.
Nope.
You know, and it's Spurs being Spurs. It just is what it is. And until they stop being what they are, they'll never change. Listen, Liverpool are the most successful club in this country, right? Or in the UK, or in England, wherever it is, right? They're the most successful club in it, right? And they've gone through really high periods, they've gone through really low periods. But the biggest thing for me is if you're supporting Liverpool over the last 20 years, right? The biggest thing is when we turned around 2015 and went, enough's enough. Whatever this fucking prick Klopp wants to do, we're going with it. And I don't give a fuck if we play 8 at the back, 8 up front, fucking the goalkeeper at left back. I don't fucking care. Whatever he says goes. And I don't care if we don't pass and move at once, or we don't fucking do this, or we don't. He is calling the shots. Well, when a manager comes in and starts saying about the Spurs way, or the West Ham way, or this way, or that way, a club doesn't have a way. It just doesn't. If you go, look at Manchester United. Look at Manchester United when they were winning all those trophies. They went through periods where they were a counter-attacking side. Then they went into this period where they took more of the ball. Then they went into just domination because people were afraid of them. Liverpool done it in a short space of time between 2017 up to 22, 23, where they went from blitzing you, fucking sitting back and hitting you on the break, but they'd ways of doing it. These clubs don't have ways. They do not have ways. Managers have ways, and unless you're willing to buy into it, fine. But what Ange Postecoglou, in my opinion, is doing is he's come in there and he's got lost in the romance of the Spurs way, right? And maybe it is his way to play high up the pitch and stuff like that. But fuck me, if you're going to play high up that pitch, you better make sure that A, your back four are absolutely nailed on to cover anything, and B, that every player in front of that back four is going to work his nuts off to put pressure on that ball. Because if you give any Premier League footballer loads of time on a ball to look up and go, I can put a ball into that space and we have a chance, 99.9% of them will do it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
He may have expedited the process of ruining one of the bright young center half talents in the league. Like, he rushed both of those center halves back. Neither Romero or Quick Mick Van de Ven
yeah,
ready to go.
But and what's the story on them? Are they gone for a while again, or has there been any word on them?
It sounds like Romero picked up a different injury, so it might not be a recurrence. But again, if he's not 100% recovered from his one injury, he's going to be moving in a way to protect that, and that could have caused the other injury. And then Van de Ven, they're not sure whether it was just cramp or whatever, but they were out for extended periods of time, and it's like right back in you go. And Romero lasts 17 minutes or 18 minutes, 19 minutes. Basically, he came off, and the whole fucking thing fell to pieces. And I mean, it's not helped out by absolutely idiotic penalties being given away by Yves Bissouma and Pape Matar. But it just felt like, because it was a shock to me that both of those guys started. And I know Ben Davies is out, but I mean, Dragozin was half decent enough as a deputy for them. Like, you bring one back and then you do 45 for Romero and 45 for Van de Ven, and Dragozin plays the 90, and you try to keep these guys in. But his whole system is so reliant on having the fastest player in the league at center half so that he can play this suicidally high line and have a player that's able to cover all that empty space in behind him. And he can't play it when he's got Ben Davies and Radu Dragozin playing at center half for him. And it's sad to see, because I think Van de Ven could be a really, really top-level center half when he eventually moves to Liverpool in 2 or 3 years and abandons ship at Tottenham. But it's just
when you keep doing your hamstrings, your chances of moving start reducing for me. Jared Gallagher says he was the same at Celtic and Postecoglou, and Jono says it is his way, Gav. He fully buys into his style. Listen to his press conferences. I do, but what I think is, right, I think he's gone too far with his ideological fucking ways of looking at how he should play football, and now he can't go back because he's given Spurs all this big hope of I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and now if he turns back and starts reverting to something else, he looks weak because he's being so strong in the way he plays. And as well as that, if it doesn't work, then he looks even worse. He's the same at Celtic. Go and look at his record in Europe for Celtic. Go and look at it. Right? It's naive as to what he's doing, right? But the naivety and the style within that naivety is a style, and that style suits how Spurs think they're meant to play, and it's not. It's absolutely not. And that's why they do things like they done yesterday. But fair play again to Chelsea. Chelsea weathered the storm, got one back into it, and then just let Spurs do.
Great goal from Sancho.
But then just let Spurs do their thing. Let them do their thing, because they'll give it to us. They'll hand it to us on the play, and there you go. Then Arsenal and Fulham. Good goal by Jimenez. Really good finish across the keeper. Arsenal have an awful lot of the ball. They get another goal from a set piece. It's mad. And, it's just constantly, every time I see Arsenal score, you're like, it's probably Saliba. It's probably Gabriel. It's probably wherever. An awful lot is being put on their set piece stuff. I'm amazed when it comes to the set piece stuff that other teams, managers, whoever, are not voicing out much more vocally, whether that's before games or to officials during games, as to what Arsenal are doing to put themselves in their positions during those. They're clearing players out. They're absolutely clearing players out of position in a way where you go, that's just a foul, and it just keeps going. But they're working it really well at the same time. It's 1-1. It's the 88th minute. Saka scores and everyone thinks, right, they've won, and let's be honest about it. The reaction, some people have sent me some videos of some Arsenal fans watching this, and it's been amazing. My favourite one was a guy, I think he might have been on TalkSport, and they score and he starts banging the desk going, that's what champions do. And I'm like, mate, they haven't won a title in 20 years. It's not what champions do. I wouldn't mind if you said, them sort of goals are what wins you titles. You kind of go, fair enough. But that's what champions do, and then you just see the blood drain from their face.
Those are the sort of games you have to win if you want to be a champion. Like, phrase it like that.
Yeah.
But then the big rug pull comes, and that, because I had, when I was in Toronto and some people found out that I did the show, and they're like, oh, hey, I was talking to some people after the Real Madrid game, and they're like, oh, do you guys ever do watch-alongs on your channel? And I was like, no, we do not do watch-alongs. Like, first off, we all want to watch the games how we want to watch the games. And second off, you're basically on a hiding to nothing, because, if you win and it's all good, fine. Nobody watches. People only care about those things when you lose and you make an absolute fucking ass of yourself, because that's what it was for those Arsenal fans. And I get it. You get wrapped up in the excitement. You think you've won the game in the 88th minute, but you just go over the top and you're broadcasting yourself live on the internet. So guess what? You make the choice to hit that go live button. We all get to laugh at you when the goal gets chalked off, because your winger, who's got chalk on his boots, can't keep himself onside.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a really good result for Liverpool. The fact that we draw during the week and everyone's on, Arsenal won and we're down to 7 now and we're going to catch them, and then you're kind of going, yeah, but Liverpool win that game now. Now it's back to 9. It's 7 to Chelsea. And the way I look at it is, you can talk Arsenal all you want, but you have to watch Chelsea. Chelsea are nearest challengers. It's a kick in the teeth for Arsenal. They probably, I don't think they play overly well, but they've probably the majority of the game, in fairness. But it's one of those where, do they bang on the door? Like Jonathan says, their XG for open play was 0.29. XG for set play was 1.73. He's Tony Pulis in the skies. I'm not a really big fan of XG because I don't think it reads enough stuff.
No, so but I think that
the eye test for me was, it was a tough game for Arsenal. They had the majority of the game without being brilliant. They had the majority of the the ball or whatever else, and they do get a chance. They do score, and it was just it's offside, and that can happen, and that's why I think, I look back to Liverpool's result at Newcastle and people going, oh, look, they're tired of this, of that. And you're kind of going, yeah, it wasn't a great performance by any means, but these things happen. Nothing goes absolutely smoothly for the whole season. They happen. What you need to do is, one, you minimise when they happen. You make sure it doesn't happen twice in a row. And two, that's, you minimise what it is. So if it happens, minimise it. Go and win your next game. Right, and you might draw the one after that, but you have to make sure it doesn't get in a little. Teams will take a bit of, encouragement from you drawing, but if you draw 2 in a row, or you draw and lose, people are like, "Oh, right, they're looking for blood now," and then opposition coming up against you, are going, we change our tactics here today. We might get at them, and it's
what happened to Man City. City go through that little run, and all of a sudden teams aren't showing up to play Man City, already beaten. Just hoping to keep it to a 3-0 defeat. Now teams go, all right, all we have to do is just make one decent pass, and we're in behind them, and we can score against them. The thing about the set pieces for Arsenal, the set piece coach stuff, somebody in the chat there, I think it was Avo, said that the Arsenal fans have a song for their set piece coach. That's some of the cringiest shit I've ever heard in my entire life, if that's true. That's ridiculous. But it was one of the panelists on the Guardian Football podcast today saying, like, it's Arsenal using the balance of the rules in their favor, because if you watch what they do, and there was somebody on, I don't know if it was on Sky Sports or if it was on the international package that they do before the weekend's games, and they were showing just a string of Arsenal corner routines. And you look at it and you're like, that looks like blocking. Like that looks like that's a foul by Ben White. That looks like that's a foul by...
But this is what I'm saying. I don't think enough people, either in game or before game or after game or whatever it might be, are voicing to referees or the PJ or whoever. And this isn't me saying everyone should ring the PJMOL instead, because that's just ridiculous. What I'm saying is that I don't hold it against Arsenal for doing this. If you get away with it, you get away with it. I'm just amazed that some moves I've seen, particularly the clearing out of the front post kind of thing they do, and some of the keeper stuff, I'm very surprised that, the captain off the other side and the keeper aren't going, watch him, watch what he's doing. You seen him doing it last week. He's constantly doing it. That's the key. And then the centre half going, watch my man here, ref. He's going to clear him out. I'm just letting you know, he's going to clear him out here. There's nothing I can do to stop it, but you can, and just, but it doesn't seem to be that. What this
guy was saying was, Arsenal do that because what's the worst case scenario? They get called for a foul and it's a free out.
Yeah.
The defenders can't use the same level of snide, because if you get called for a foul, it's a penalty kick. And so they're saying, like, maybe you need to have a different level of punishment for a foul, for off-ball contact from a corner kick, because it's not denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It shouldn't result. If you got, you're there wrestling, and like, who was it that pulled, who was that? In one of our games. Somebody pulled down somebody in the box, blatant arms around the shoulder, and we got a penalty for it a couple of weeks ago. If that's from a corner kick, that wasn't a goal, but the punishment for that is a spot kick where 8 times out of 10 it ends up in the back of the net. Like, it just seems like right now the way that the rules are written and the way the rules are being enforced are very heavily weighted in Arsenal's favor, and credit to them for recognizing that and taking advantage of it, because they're scoring an incredible number of goals from set pieces. And like, teams need to get better at it. Teams need to stop fucking zonal marking from corners. That's for sure. Because if they're putting 7 players at the back post, you can't be having 3 guys standing at the front post. like you're just gonna lose. So you have to think that eventually certain of the smarter cadre of managers in the league are going to start coming up with plans specifically to defend against that,
Well, to
and
be
then it'll
fair,
be all back in their court.
to be fair, if I was a coach and I'm coaching a defending team against them, I tell my keeper to come off his line.
Yeah,
I genuinely say,
out.
stop standing on your line.
Yeah,
I want you to come out and stand your 6 yard line. I want Saka and I want Rice to see you standing with your arms up on the 6 yard line going, what are you going to do now? Because what they're doing is they're floating balls into areas that are quite central to back post areas. Yeah. But if you were to go, like, trust me, if you were to go and you stand there and that ball goes up and you go up and you backpedal and you put your arms up to catch it and any of them make contact with you, you're getting a free out. But what they're doing is they're stopping the goalkeeper from coming off his line, which means they're actually stopping. Forget about the whole saving of anything, because he's not there to save really. It's usually a head or back and stuff like that. But if you stop a goalkeeper from advancing off his line, you're actually prohibiting from him possibly getting a foul, because we know it. Keeper goes up, gets a touch on a ball, and any players near him, you know what's happening. And they're very cute in what they do, in fairness to them. But look, it's been a good weekend with Liverpool. We've gone over the hour. Jeez, that flew in. It's been a good weekend with Liverpool. Fair play to Chelsea to keep going. Arsenal have dropped points. City have dropped points. It's up to Liverpool now.
Looks like he's going to survive in his job for at least another couple of days.
Yeah, did that finish 1-0?
No, 2-1.
2-1 it finished.
And
so it was 1-0 the last
Wolves got robbed. Apparently,
Wolves getting robbed now is not a new thing. But I think the Merseyside derby now has provisionally been put back to the 12th of February, which is a Wednesday night, I think. And Wolves have been moved from the 15th of February to the 16th of February to make room for that. So that's where it's gone with that. So we'll have to wait another 2 months, is it? 3 months. Yeah, 2 months. 2 months to see the Merseyside derby. So a lot will happen between now and then. Finally, the City hearing apparently is over. We'll have to do something on this, because if this doesn't get sorted by the end of the season, it's farcical. Absolutely farcical, because what we're looking at if City are found guilty on any of these charges, they're looking at March. And me and Kev were having it out earlier about it, and Kev was saying, look, it'll run into next year. I'm not disagreeing with Kev on that. What I'm saying is that if it does, it's farcical, because we could end up on December 9th next year, where City are being found guilty, had an appeal, had the appeal quashed, okay, and now are facing their sanctions. The sanctions being announced mid-season, which brings the game into disrepute. It genuinely does. You're basically you could be genuinely telling the team next December, you're not in this league next year. So what the fuck would he turn up for? Brings the whole thing into this. It's a farce. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. 5:45 kickoff tomorrow. Airtime
nice early one over here in Canada.
For Girona. I'm not too sure what time we're going to do our match reaction. We're going to see at what time people are available at, but it'll probably be either 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And then the rest of the week we'll get as many shows out yet as we can. We're definitely bringing some sort of quiz, sports/Liverpool quiz coming on Thursday. That'll be for members, and then of course we'll be into the weekend, and we'll be into post-match and Sunday night and all that sort of stuff. But we're trying to bring you as much as we can. I might go for another walk. I might have another video for you. It will be for members. We'll see how we get on. Links are in the description for our charities. If you want to back them, please do. And also in there is the latest football prizes offering, which finishes next Monday the 13th. And that's all about Luis Suarez. So if you want to leave a like Luis Suarez, to check out the link there. Anything else before we go, Matt?
Yeah, just two things to go along with the charity thing. Liz Golden, old chat member that we've seen before, has had a few health issues. So everybody else in the chat was saying best wishes to you, Liz. So hopefully Liz is back and getting better. But of course, the $2 super chat. I said you're halfway to a membership. You should have just doubled it and got the membership. But that'll go into the charity fund.
Don't worry. Like I said, don't worry about super chats.
Yeah.
Do you know what to do? Give people a membership if you want, or take a membership out just for a month. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. There's no kind of contracts or anything like that. A lot of people, though, that when we started this about a year ago, 10 months ago maybe, love it, and they've kept going and kept going, and it's actually growing now. It's starting to grow, which is good to see, and it means more and more people are in that members chat. And like I said, as much as we can, we bring member stuff, but we try to be fair and bring out our free stuff as well. And like I said, anything we do, bar a couple of members chats that we like to keep on the members side of it, does go out as a download as well. So that's what was your second thing?
The other thing, Gav, it would have been absolutely criminal to not mention the unquestionable highlight of the entire week, not just of football, but of all sport. And that was Andre the Fool Onana wasting 50 seconds of his own team's time trying to take a free kick from the wrong spot at the end of that game. Somebody put it with old silent movie music to it and sped it up a little bit. It's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen, but it was so funny. It was so funny because you never see the ref doing it. And the fact that the ref kept going, nope, back you go, back you go, back you go. It was the brilliant end to that match. It was just, what a fucking clown that guy is.
Chris Hockley said, it was just put the ball down where I told you. Kick it. And it makes no difference. That 5 yards is going to make no difference to you.
They headed out for a goal kick anyways.
But the thing is, you could kick it into the Stretford end from there or there. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Chris says, Gabby, you can see the weight off your fair play. We're getting there. Like I said, there's a huge target being set. For me personally, that's a private thing. Don't worry about it. But I have set a Liverpool-related target on this. And I have done a video to explain it, and it will be out soon. And if you want to join in, you just can. A few people today have said to me, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm more than happy for people to join in and have a go as well. So that's where we are. But look, we better run. That has been the Talkin Kop for tonight. Thanks a million to Matt. Thanks a million to me. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment afterwards. Become a member if you like. It's completely up to you. But what I would say, most people that try it for a month stay. So why not? And we do as much as we possibly can for you. Good night. God bless. Up the Reds. And hopefully we don't play next weekend. Hopefully there's a storm next week. We don't play. And everybody else drops points again. Because this is the best way to win a league. By literally playing nobody. That's what we should do. Yeah, nobody. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.